of the UK Independence Party. He gave an amazing media appearance on the Daily Politics last week. It's Jhon!
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Now, I don't know about you, I often enjoy a nice walk on a Sunday, but I don't think I was really prepared for today. I would like to congratulate you all for turning up. I'd like to congratulate all the organisers of this march, particularly also the veterans and the football lads for whom who ensured that it was a nice, peaceful walk from Hyde Park. And of course, I'd like to congratulate the police who have the unenviable task of having to turn out on a Sunday in order to police the other end of this demonstration. Look what we've got here today. Thousands of honest, decent, patriotic people who don't need a bodyguard, or not exactly a bodyguard, they don't need to be police. And what have you got down that end? You've got the masked, cowardly thugs who want to stop you asserting your right to free speech. Now what is free speech? We've all turned out today to celebrate it. Well, let me give you the Universal Declaration of Human Rights definition, 1948. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive and impart information and ideas through any media, regardless of frontiers. Well, it's not legally binding, and we know that in many places it's not adhered to at all. But in Britain we had very good free speech traditions up until fairly recently. There were no laws for free speech, but there were no laws until recently against free speech. And of course in America it's protected under their constitution. Well, freedom of speech is vital to Western civilization. It must be free to discuss ideas and issues, and that's what we've done over the last few centuries. And look what we've added to the world in terms of our law, our political systems, our science, our art, our literature and our culture. It's put the modern world where it is today. That's what our freedom of speech has achieved in the last 300 to 400 years. And now it's under attack. And how is it being attacked? Well, about 3 or 4 main means of doing that. One is name calling. Anybody now that says something which is not acceptable to the political and media establishment is labelled. You might be a racist, you might be a homophobe, you might be this phobe or that phobe, but you are labelled and given a name so that you can be marginalised and intimidated from not talking. And we have censorship. We have Tommy Robinson recently taken off Twitter. And some of you will have noticed over the years, do you remember Dr. David Bellamy, who did those marvellous programmes on the BBC? He was taken off because he wouldn't subscribe to the man-made climate change theory. And not only that, another chap who's had that experience, Piers Corbyn, who's Jeremy Corbyn's brother. He's actually, he's a very nice chap, I've met him, and he is an expert meteorologist. He's got a business that conducts, he makes money out of predicting the weather. He's no longer on the BBC because he doesn't believe in man-made climate change either. So he's been dropped. And then of course we have universities, no platforming people. Well, I thought the idea of universities was to actually discuss things and arrive at a consensus of what's what based on all the arguments. I never went to university, so obviously I have a misunderstanding as far as that's concerned. And then we have this new concept of hate crime. I'd like somebody to describe to me what a love crime is. All crimes are hateful. they're normally perpetrated by people with no conscience or fairly hateful themselves. So what's a hate crime? Well, let's have a look for a definition, shall we? Now, if I quote you the Public Order Act of 1986, it says, just to give you a brief overview, nothing in the Act which actually prohibits or restricts discussion, criticism, expression, antipathy, dislike, ridicule, insult or abuse of particular religions or beliefs or practices of their adherents, etc., etc. It seems to be telling you that you have the freedom to criticise belief systems and ideologies. But now look at the most recent Police and Crown Prosecution Service interpretation of that Act, and I'll read it to you. If someone does something that isn't a criminal offence, but the victim or anyone else believes it was motivated by prejudice or hate, we would class this as a hate incident. Though what the perpetrator has done may not be against the law, their reasons for doing it are. This means it may be possible to charge them with an offence. Now just think about that for a minute. What it means is that someone can be charged with a criminal offence for expressing an opinion that isn't a criminal offence, but because someone took offence at their opinion, they can be charged. This is Orwellian. Well, I'm now going to commit a hate crime, ladies and gentlemen. And you're all my witnesses. Now, a few days ago, it was Karl Marx's 200th birthday. Now, I hate Marxism. I hate communism. I hate what it's done to the world. I hate the repression, the suffering, the murder that has been caused around the world and which in many countries it is still causing. Now, are there any Marxists out there who are going to take offence at what I've just said? For example, Jhon MacDonald, the Shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer, is a Marxist. If he was offended at watching me say this, I could be guilty of an offence and I could be charged. And I shall look forward to my day in court. Now, how did we reach this insane situation? Well, it's our old friends, political correctness and cultural Marxism. You'll all know where political correctness came from. It was invented in communist countries because the political system didn't actually describe reality. It was unreal. But on the other